Right, I just wanted to give a summary of impressions of what I found this morning from that ride through. And I'm up here at this fabulous cafe. It's a great little part of the world here, to say the least. And I've now got beetroot juice all over my jersey. But right, what's going on? There's heaps more signage out there. I saw a lot more today than I've seen for quite some time. Unfortunately, it's either the wrong type or it's in the wrong place. But somebody's trying. That's a good start. The other thing I noticed, the people I spoke to out there, happiest, friendliest bunch of good humans I've met in a long time. I don't know where they've recruited these guys from, and girls, but they're top notch. It's good to just sit there and stand there and have a chat. And unfortunately, I had to chat to quite a few of them because I had to ask them, where the hell do I go? And it was funny talking to one bloke that he'd been working on kind of one side of the project, and he'd been shifted over the other side today, and he said, "I got no idea where to go because there's no signage." There were certainly some places where I was directed through on the way towards the Anzac Bridge, and the only way I knew to come back knew where the path was on the way back was because I'd popped out there 10 minutes beforehand. That's just not good. That's bloody awful, actually. The other thing, of course, is I've just realised I've stopped here and eaten a sandwich using my hands, which I've just been using to press all the call buttons and all the traffic signals. So I've probably just copped a case of woo flu, by doing that. So I know in the city, all the call buttons are apparently now on automatic signals for pedestrians, etc. And I think it'd be a good idea to put that onto all the signals on this diversion, because you don't want sweaty cyclists smearing their fingers all over these call buttons all the time. That's not the best. Anyway, I think that's a good summary for today. I better get back to work. Now, this next bit is a bit of commentary on the visibility of this sign as you're coming down Lilyfield Road. And you'll just hear me talking into the camera every now and then about whether the sign is visible or not visible, because there's issues here with work vehicles and, trucks and plant and stuff being parked in front of it. And depending on where you are on the road, it's completely or partially obscured at times. I can see it from back here, but from here I can only see half the sign, and I get to here and I can't see it at all. But I can start to see it again. And it's now here, it's fully unblocked. That's pretty late notice. Today I was actually able to ride through Rozelle Bay, which I'd never been able to do before. And before we go onto the footage from today, I just want to show you what it looked like yesterday. And quite clearly, the Rozelle Bay path was completely blocked. There were trucks parked around it, and there were poles and stuff that were across the path. And there was no way through. And I think I had a look down the path, and there seemed to be a fence there. So the question is this path open all the time or part of the time, or is it opening and closing? Again, there seems to be no consistency to it, and I would have thought as I come around the corner here, if this path was open, there'd be a sign here pointing to the left saying cyclists go this way. Today, Rozelle Bay looked a little bit different, but one thing I want to point out here is you can see there's a line of traffic cones going all the way around the corner, and there's a vehicle parked on the left. And what does a line of traffic cones normally say to people? Well, you're not going through here, that's blocked off. So to me, the impression it gave me, because it was blocked off yesterday, is it was blocked off again today. Because that's the first thing I think when I see cones. Cones delineate there's a work site over there, stay out of it, you've got to stay on the right hand side of the cones. So what I did is I thought, well, I wonder if I go actually up to the station, whether I can cut across there, and there might be a ramp up one side and a ramp down the other. And of course that didn't pan out. There was absolutely no such thing. There's a construction site on the other side. So I then came back down the hill and stopped and had a chat with one of the guys there, who was extremely nice, and he pointed me on the way. So I was like, oh, great. Because there is absolutely nothing here which indicates that the path is open. There's no diversion signage or anything like that. And so I got through the end of the path. Now, I then played dumb at the other end and said, well, how do I get to the city from here? Because again, at the other end of the path, there is no signage. And if I wasn't a local, I would have no clue how to come out at the end of this path and actually get to the Anzac Bridge. Just a quick point here, parking a trailer on a shared path and obstructing most of it is a hazard. And I'm going to tell you up front where I went wrong in this next section, and I think it's because of this sign. And as you can see, part of this sign is obscured by the bushes where it's placed, and when you're a little bit further back you just don't see the sign. And obviously you're not looking for signage just all the time, and I just managed to breeze straight past this sign without seeing it. Thankfully it was a very nice bloke up the road who pointed me in the right direction. Okay.
Yeah, I'll still take you to Anzac Bridge. That's where you want to go?
Where?
Yeah, down across that side, that cycle truck over there, and I'll take you all the way down that way.
Okay, no, completely missed that.
There's a sign just there. That's
This one? Oh, right. In case you're wondering why I did a really big turn into this car park, what I was looking for is, as I was exiting, I wanted to see what it was like from the view of a truck driver or a car driver, whether there was any signage warning them that there were going to be cyclists, etc., going across the path. And yes, there's been some laminated A4 signs put up on either side of the gate here saying watch for cyclists or beware of cyclists or something like that. So someone at least has been thinking about that. Again, my only quibble with this is it's A4 rather than, say, 600 by 900 core flutes, which would be a heck of a lot better. But, you know, it's a start. As we're going up the hill here, you won't see it from this direction, but we'll see it from the other direction, and an absolute clanger. There's a sign that's been put up on a pole, and what you're going to see from it as we go up the hill, or as you come from the Anzac Bridge, is the back side of it. And when you're on a bike and you're trying to do a U-turn around a sharp bend, the last thing you're doing is looking up to your left or your right to see a sign that's pointing away from you. It was just mind-boggling when I saw it on the way back. And also, you can also see that there's been signs that have been put flat against the fences. Again, yeah, nice that signage has gone up. Placement, completely useless. Just useless. Good size signage, you know, it's bright, it's big letters, you know, all that kind of stuff, and all it's lacking is simply putting it where you can see it. That's it. It's not real hard. And we've finally made it to the last sign before we get onto the Anzac Bridge. And again, we come up here and you've got to do a sharp right hand or almost a U-turn to stay on the ramp to get back up to the Anzac Bridge. And what's happened here is the signage has been put quite high up a pole, so it's outside of your line of vision. You can see it's pedestrians pointing up to the right, and then there's this green arrow pointing backwards again with pedestrians. And when I came around this corner for the first time, when I actually got to this corner, I had nowhere to go. I had no idea where to go. And there was a bloke here, because I tried going left, because I didn't see these signs, I completely missed them. And he said, no, that's closed, you can't go through there, I think it takes you to the lookout. You've got to do a U-turn and go back up this ramp to your right. And I was like, what the hell? And I think all that's required is, on the path that where you approach this sign, is instead of relying on this signage here at the terminus, so to speak, or at the intersection, is to put warning signs further back. Now, obviously these great big bright core flutes are being printed up, which is good. It'll just be a matter of printing up an appropriate one, for instance saying you've got to do a U-turn at the intersection coming up, and sticking it 50 metres back or 25 metres back, or both, 50 and 25. So as you're approaching, it's saying hard right turn up ahead for cyclists. And that would do the trick. This is the entrance to the diversion back to Rozelle Bay. And as you can see, coming from this direction, there's absolutely no signage in front of me here to tell me to go down this concrete path. If I didn't know this was here, I would have missed that completely and been lost and just would have gone up there towards Johnson Street and been in a real tangle. Well, let's recap what we've seen. In summary, there's definitely more signage, but it's badly placed. It's obscured, it's hiding behind plants and all that kind of thing. There's confusion over whether the diversions are open or not. The cones, for instance, are sending conflicting messages about is this diversion open or is it not? Is it a roadwork site or not? There's still a lack of cyclist-specific wayfinding signage. So, for instance, at that Rozelle Bay diversion, the confusion could have been overcome by simply having a sign saying cyclists, this way. The Lilyfield sign is obscured by trucks and plant. It's either partly obscured or at times completely obscured. And how are you supposed to see that when you're coming down the hill at a reasonable clip? And most of all, a ride through on a bike would show what needs fixing. I mean, I've just given you a 10-minute ride through, and you can see multiple things where improvements could be made. So, instead of wasting time sticking up all this signage in, I'm going to say a haphazard way, I don't think it is, but in the way it's been done to date, unless you actually ride through on a bike and check whether it functions properly, you're really wasting your time and money.